Welcome to the Mothering with Jesus podcast, where we rally together to become the mothers that God intended us to be. I'm your host, Layna Massey, and this is episode 2, Don't Be Afraid. Our guest today is Savannah Richardson. Savannah and I were really good friends growing up. We became good friends, I believe it was the year after high school. I'm so excited to chat with Savannah. She has a natural gift to be able to talk about God and share her experiences. I feel like it comes to her so naturally, and I'm just so excited for you to hear what she has to say. She is such a light. All right. Welcome, Savannah. I am so excited
Hi.
to chit chat with you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, first off, tell us a little bit of where you're at in motherhood. How many children do you have? Where are you living?
So I have 3 little kids, Charlotte, who's 7, Jack, who's 4, and Georgia, who's 2. And we were living in Lehi, Utah. We actually built our dream home there, and we had a lot of friends and family around. Both of our families are from Utah. And we just kind of felt these stirrings to, it was probably 2 years that we kind of felt these promptings to leave Utah and to go somewhere else. So we packed up all of our stuff and we moved to South Carolina for a new job opportunity. And then we ended up moving again that same year to Oklahoma. So now Oklahoma is our home base for a little bit. And my husband's working there.
Okay, so how long have you been in Oklahoma? This was recent, right?
Yep. Yeah, our life has been really wild. But we've been in there since January. The time has flown by, but yeah, since January. So it's only been a couple of months that we've been there, but we were in South Carolina about 6 months.
Okay, so you just got to Oklahoma. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us about leaving your family and all of that. This is the first time that you've been away from your parents, right?
Yeah, so my husband got his master's degree in Minnesota about when Charlotte was really little. So we left 2 years for that. But other than that, we've been around family throughout our lives. So it was a big jump for sure and a big change.
And Oklahoma, what brought you there? Your husband is doing
Um,
Air Force?
Yeah, so he's not active duty or anything. He's just contracted with the Air Force there. So he is the cognitive performance specialist there. So he helps the pilots with visualization, stress relief, just giving them tools to be able to do their best as pilots.
I love it. Okay, and
Yeah.
what would you say to anybody who is, doing a big move or making a big change like that?
I would say just trusting in God and trusting in his timing because I feel like we felt really inspired to make the move. I would come home from vacations and just feel like I grew up in Utah, but I just felt this sense of this isn't home for me anymore.
Mm.
And I couldn't shake that feeling. And so I just think trusting in God, because even though we took a huge leap of faith to do it, and I feel like the Lord, as I was praying and reading my scriptures about it, he told me that he would catch us and that everything was going to work out. But honestly, as we made the big changes and took the leap of faith, there were many times that it felt like he wasn't there to catch us. It seemed like everything went wrong when we took the leap of faith. Nothing went right with our move. We lost tons of money with that. Just moving to South Carolina, and then the job out there didn't end up being what we thought it and hoped it would be. And then just a bunch of little things that just didn't seem like they were working out. But I feel like what I would tell people is just trust in his timing, because he has mysteries that you don't understand. And we've learned and gained so many things from going through that I wouldn't trade for anything. So yeah, I think that's the bottom line. Just trusting in what he has for you.
I love that. That's so awesome. It's so interesting. I feel like you bring up such a good point that often we get these revelations or inklings to do something and change something, and then it's easy to expect those things to just go smoothly. You know,
Yeah.
and just like, oh, if this isn't going smoothly, then it must mean that I was wrong. I didn't
Yeah.
understand the revelation correctly. I need to backtrack. So I love that, of just trusting in the Lord's timing. And you're so right that He can see so much more than we can.
I think there's so many stories about people like taking a leap of faith and like giving up everything for the Lord. And I feel like so many miracles take place after that. But it's kind of like there was a time after we took that leap of faith. I think it's been almost a year since we sold our home in Lehigh. Um, and there has definitely been miracles, but it's kind of that moment of like, okay, the Lord asked us to give up all of this. And I really felt like He did. He asked me, like, would you give up all of this to know me? Like, would you be able to leave everything? Like, He asked me very specifically. And I really felt that. Um, and it was that sense of like, even if it didn't work out the way I hoped or I thought it was, what have I learned from that? Like, what experience have I gained? And then on top of that, like, there's things that I didn't expect to gain that He's taught me throughout the process, and it's made me who I am today. And I like wouldn't go back or trade it for anything. So
Yeah. I love that. That really must have been so hard to leave your beautiful home and everything.
yeah, it's been challenging, but looking back on it, I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for the ways that He's taught us to trust in Him, even if things don't always work out. And I think that's one of the biggest tests in life is just like, will I keep trusting you even when it doesn't always turn out the way we think it will?
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so
Mhm.
wise. I think all of
Yeah.
us go through like these similar experiences where
Mm.
it's not quite turning out how you expected it. And so, how have you like um how have you held on and trusted, or what are you doing to strengthen that relationship with God as you have gone through these things?
I think just telling Him like, Lord, I'll still follow you. Like even though I feel like there's been moments that like doubt has creeped in, it's just that feeling of like an increased strength, like an increased endurance to keep pushing forward and to keep telling Him like, I'll go where you want me to go. I'll do what you want me to
Mm.
do. And there's so much power in that. Like, I don't know how to even describe it. Like, but to be at a point where you're like willing to give up anything and to say, Lord, where do you want me to go? Like, what do you want me to do with my life? There's so much power in it. And um, I think during general conference, there was like a quote from Henry B. Eyring that he said that when his sealer was sealing them, it was like that feeling of being willing to pick up and leave and serve at any point in your life. And I just think if we're so connected to the things of the world and we think that like a beautiful home and the place that we like want to be makes us happy or something, or just like little things that can we just like think this is tied to happiness or this is tied to home. And I think the Lord really taught me what home is this year. Like when we moved to South Carolina, we pulled out of a house that we were planning on buying and we thought we would just move out and just move right into a home. And we just didn't feel right about it. Um, and so we ended up being like in and out of homes or like Airbnbs and hotels and like we rented a townhome for a month. Like it just, our whole year, we felt like we didn't have a home really. Like we still
Mm.
are just in an apartment right now because we still have our house in South Carolina that we're gonna sell. And so He's just taught me what home is, and it's truly Him. It doesn't matter where we are, it doesn't matter like what is surrounding us. We can feel
Mhm.
that sense of home if we have Him. And I think that's what I've learned through a lot of this.
I love that so much. Okay, this
Yeah.
podcast was for me. I needed to hear all of these things.
Uh,
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that
yeah.
He is home. What
Hmm.
a hard thing to learn,
Yeah.
but such a neat thing, because I think you're so right that it's so easy to get tied to temporal things and feel like, I'm just going to be happy when I lose 10 pounds. I'm just going to be
Yeah.
happy when we get into the next house because this one's feeling kind of small, or I'm
Yeah.
just going to be happy when, and usually it's just
Mhm.
like this outside um, factor.
Yeah.
So that's so neat to just feel like he is home. And that's even like more powerful than just feeling like your family, your little tiny family is home.
Yeah.
Like just knowing that even if something happens to them,
Yeah.
even if the Lord asks you to give up one of your children or something, right? Like if
Yeah.
something terrible happens, that like God is home.
Yeah, it's so true. And it doesn't mean it doesn't come without challenges, but it's that constant reminder of like, no, like if you have those thoughts, like I'll be happy if this, or like I'll feel more at home if this. Like I think it's natural for us to feel homesick because we aren't with God. Like he's not living with us. Well, he's inside of us, but I just think all of us, especially I felt this lately, just that sense of like longing for like our heavenly home. And I think the more that we can connect to him on a daily basis and like see the sunrises and just see him in like everything in our children and just the little moments, then it just brings that sense of home back, which is a beautiful place to have. Like our homes are beautiful and they are sacred. But when you don't have a home, or if we are asked to leave at any point, then where's our home at? Like it needs to be.
That's
Yeah.
so great. Very wise. Okay, so how have you gained that relationship with God? Because I feel like, I don't know, I'm always trying to ask people, like, what are you doing to be close to God? Because as a mom, you've got your three littles, they're around you all the time.
Yeah.
You guys are homeschooling right now.
Yeah.
We homeschool as well. Like, there's just no break.
Yes.
So, what does, in your day to day, what does it look like to have your relationship with God and try to stay close to
Mhm.
Him?
Yeah. I would say lately I really have been trying to catch the sunrise before my kids get up, or sometimes Georgia will be with me because she tends to crawl into my bed in the middle of the night.
I,
But
I feel that.
yeah, I do try to like get up in the morning, and even if it's not in the morning, I do try to just get my journal out, and even if it's 10 minutes, um then I'll try to just say a prayer, center my day on him, and then just keep praying throughout that day. Yeah, thinking about him. Um Yeah, I feel like our schedule, we are very like fly by the seat of our pants type of people, which is why homeschool works for us. Like
Us too.
I do not like, every day is different for us. I'm not very like scheduled. I'm not a very good schedule person. And so sometimes homeschool will be after dinner and we just like get our two that are homeschooling together, and um, it's very different every day. So truly, it's just a matter of me like drawing my thoughts back to him and thinking about him throughout my day. Like I feel like little moments, just when I'm driving, when I'm showering, like I feel him, and I feel like those promptings come to me if I'm asking for them. Um, yeah, and I feel like a huge part of me feeling him that I've come to realize is doing things that I love, like not shoving those things that I love aside for my kids. I mean, there's definitely all day I'm with them, right? But I have to make time for like even just walking on the treadmill for 30 minutes by myself, and I'm able to like process and feel him, and I just listen to Christian music or like the Strive to Be music from the church, and that, I don't know, I'm probably just really nerdy, but I love to listen to it, and it brings the spirit, and I just like feel this sense of like, this is who I am. Like I just remember who I am when I'm just having those
Yes.
moments, and I'm like, yes, I can do this. Like
Yes.
everything's gonna work out. And you just, I don't know, all those promptings just start to kind of flood. And he reminds me like who I am and what my mission is on earth. And those moments are so powerful and sacred to me. And then I feel a lot when I'm dancing too. So
I
I
love it.
try to make time to dance, even if it's like a little bit throughout the day or just a few times a week. Yeah, that's something that's so special to me. And I grew up doing it throughout my life. And I'm realizing that those moments that I had after school to dance are the times that like I truly connected to God, because it's such a part of who I am, like innately. Like I know that I danced before this life, and I know that I will do it again. And that
Yep.
it's such a powerful way that I'm able to like share his spirit and just really connect with myself and with him. I just hope everyone has something like that, whether it's like exercising or playing soccer or just like, I don't know, knitting, and you're just like kind of able to process. I hope that everyone has something like that because it truly is like that sacred time where you can feel like you're in the zone and the Lord can pour out so many little bits of inspiration.
Yes. Okay. I feel like you said so many amazing things in there. I absolutely love that for you, more than just like a physical time of sitting down with God, that it's just all throughout the day, just always
Yeah.
trying to bring your thoughts back to Him. Um, was so powerful. And
Yeah.
I love the dancing. Savannah grew up dancing for years and years. How old were you when you started? Like two?
I started when I was 3. Yeah.
So cute.
Hmm.
And you're such a beautiful dancer. And that's a great lead in into what you're doing now with your dance. So you just started, tell me more about it. It's like
Yeah.
an old dance thing that used used to be
Yeah.
happening in Utah, and then you brought it back. Tell us more, because obviously I know nothing.
Yes. So it's called Deseret Dance Theater. So it was founded in 1998 by Kim Yondo, and
Okay.
my mom was her best friend. Besides, they performed at the Olympics here in Salt Lake,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and then they performed just all over at relief societies.
And how many
Um,
women were there?
there were like 16 women on the company.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so we decided like I'm trying to think, maybe 2 years ago, 2000, yeah, 2022. So I just kind of felt these promptings like, you're not done dancing. There's more to do, there's more mission to be had. And it's kind of funny. My little sister was looking up like the dumbest degrees to get in school. And the number one was dance. So not the dumbest, but just like you can't really do much with it
Too
or
much with
make a
it.
lot. I don't know. But she was telling me that the other day, and I remember like really praying about like what I should do with my life and with my schooling, and um I really felt like that's what I was supposed to do. And I now looking back, like I really, it wasn't a mistake. Like I know that that's what I was supposed to do, and it's just cool to feel like the Lord, like I've put that side of me away for so long because I did get pregnant my last year at BYU, and I was really hoping to dance professionally, but I just had babies really young. So,
Yeah.
um, so he kind of brought that back around for me, and I had those promptings come pretty strong. Like, this isn't over. Like, there's more for you to do. There's more opportunities to be had. And there was a lot of friends that I have from dancing, and I tried to bring them together. And I was like, let's do some adult classes. Like, let's try to commit to 1 day a week. Like, I need this so bad. Do you guys need it? And they're like, yes, we need
Mhm.
it. But I could not get anyone to like commit to coming weekly. Like, we'd have maybe like 8 dancers, and then all of a sudden the next week we'd have like 2 come, and it
Okay.
was so hard to get people to commit. um but then when I finally like went through on that prompting to like just ask people to like commit to this, which
Oh,
I wasn't even sure if they would like the idea because
mhm.
it's just kind of, I don't know. And so because all of them kind of danced in different avenues, so to bring the spirituality of it together, I just wasn't sure if they would be open to that. But right when I kind of asked them, I had like 12 dancers committed like that night. They were like, yes. Like I kind of sent a text out to everyone that wasn't there, and like, the people that were there all were like, yes, we want to do this. And it's just
That's
cool.
amazing.
I've seen that throughout the whole period, that the Lord's work is so true because he opens up doors when he's behind
Yes.
things. Yeah.
I love that. That's so neat.
Mhm.
And I love that you're doing that because, like, I grew up with you and Tiffany as my best friends, and
Yeah.
you guys danced for years. Like, I
Yeah.
watched you guys put in all the work. You guys
Yeah.
worked so, so hard to dance. And so I absolutely love seeing that you're able to use that. Like, I know what a beautiful dancer you are, and um, that you get to, like, it's coming full circle and you get to go back
Yeah.
to it. I'm so excited for you. So
Thanks.
tell
Yeah.
us, your Instagram is Savvy. Is it just
Richardson.
Savvy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Savvy
have that in
Richardson.
the show notes,
Mm-hmm.
and people can go watch your dances because it's so beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
So tell us about, like, obviously you just moved to Oklahoma. So now what is your game plan with this group of women?
Um, at this point, so I have Rochelle Jardine. Oh, that's her maiden name. Rochelle Brady, and Beth Eisenhunt. They both kind of direct the company for me here, and then I'm able to kind of take care of like our retreats and the planning and kind of the more like our Instagram stuff like that. And then when I come back, I'm able to perform at the firesides with them and rehearse. So I'm so grateful for those women. Everyone is just fully like head in on it because it's so fulfilling to be able to dance. Like we don't charge money to like come to firesides. It's just all a service that we do and give because we truly love what we do and we love the Lord's work. And um so yeah, it's really powerful, and we've seen the way it's changing people's lives and just blessing our lives. Like if it's not even changing other people, it's truly like changing us every day that we're able to be together and just share our talents and bring them together in Christ. It's powerful. I've never felt anything like it. So I just think it's amazing when you have gifts and talents and you're like consecrating them to the Lord and just giving him all you have. He enables you and like allows you to do things that you could never do. And I felt that so strongly in this work. So
That's so
yeah.
amazing. So you just anybody can reach out to you and get you to come dance at like their fireside relief society. What are you doing? Like young women, any of the things?
Yeah. Yeah. We do like individual wards, and then we've done like up to 4 stakes combined before. Um and yeah,
Cool.
it's like young women, relief society. We're going to actually our first time being out of state for one of the firesides. We're going to Santa Barbara, California, in
Cool.
July. Yeah, we're super excited. And I think she's trying to get like 4 stakes there. And obviously they're smaller than in Utah, but she's like, I'm going to invite all the women, even the primary, like whoever wants to come. Like, we're
Cute.
so excited. So, yeah, just all the women. I mean, men come to them too. Like, we'll have the bishopric, and our husbands always try to make it. And
Yeah,
it's really amazing.
that sounds so beautiful.
It's really fun.
New goal is to have you guys come
To
perform in
St.
my
George.
ward.
I know, we need to. We would love to. We really would.
That's so awesome. And do you
Yeah.
need anything specific? Like, do you just do it in the like cultural hall or how do
Yeah.
you set it up?
We just do it in the gym. Um, and then we usually like the people to kind of have like a box or some round tables work too. And then a lot of them will do a dinner before or some refreshments afterwards. And then the whole program is about 45 minutes. We kind of
I love
just
it.
have, yeah, we have like explanations before each dance with testimonies of kind of like what that dance means to us and how it came about and the purpose of it with like a little
Okay,
scripture.
that
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We
It's
gotta
really
get you.
powerful.
We're just gonna use all your time, get you to all the wards and stakes because that sounds so inspiring.
It's so fun. Yeah. I think
Any
that's good.
specific to motherhood challenges that you have run into and that you feel like God has sustained you through?
Yes. So I feel like I've dealt with health challenges, physically as well as just like mental health postpartum. And I feel like it's hard to be like the best, feel like the best mom that you can be when you're dealing with physical pain or like mental and emotional pain, which I think is even worse sometimes than feeling physical pain.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I had like some hard postpartum moments after my third baby.
mm,
Um, just with lots of changes and things. And I feel like the Lord gave me so much strength to be able to get through it. And obviously, like therapy, I went to therapy for the first time, and that was really powerful and amazing. Um, but yeah, I feel like those have been big struggles that I feel like he's really strengthened me and helped me to get through those moments and to be able to see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that like you will overcome these things. You will feel like yourself again.
mhm.
Um, I don't know. I think so many women can relate to that because so many women have mental health struggles and stuff. And I've never really opened up about that, but I just think if we can just keep holding on a little longer, he pulls us out and he helps us remember who we are. Even when in those moments we're feeling like, I'm not being the best mom I can be right now. Like, please help me, Lord. And he keeps pulling us. He keeps carrying us, even when we feel like we can't get up again.
Mhm. I love it. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think you're so right that so many of us mothers struggle with postpartum
Yeah.
anxiety and depression and issues. So, what
Yeah.
would be your advice to a mom feeling that for the first time?
I would say get help. Yeah. Reach out to someone for sure. Getting help.
What did that look like for you? Like, how long were you in it before you? Because I feel like so often, like we're in it, we don't really recognize what even is happening. So, like,
Yeah.
what did it look like for you? What were kind of your indicators that you needed help?
Yeah. I feel like I just was pushing off things that like I loved, like I didn't care about it anymore.
Mhm.
Um just all the signs of like depression, and I had anxiety, just feeling like anxious like about like just little things, which I think so many of us have experienced. But for me, it was like I got on like some herbal medication. I never like got on a prescription, which I'm not opposed to at all. I think that they are extremely important. But for me, I was nursing and I really wanted to try the herbal medicine first. So I went that route. That helped me a lot. And then I went to therapy, and I think there's so many tools. Like I did EMDR, um, and I would love to try neurofeedback because I know that's helped a lot of people that I love with postpartum too.
Mhm.
Um, there's so many like therapeutic tools that help a lot, and I think they go along with obviously like praying and reading your scriptures. Like that's really powerful, but sometimes you feel so far from God when you're dealing with these mental health
Mhm.
struggles. It's hard to feel close to Him.
Mhm.
And I think just like remembering, like find and ask people that have gotten through it and say, like, how did you get through this? Because I'm going through it.
Mhm.
And I think there's so much help out there. There's so many people. I feel like I would get on my Instagram and like the Lord, I feel like this is so silly because I think that Instagram can be such a distraction for us. And I've really studied, just I've asked the Lord, like, do you want me to be on Instagram? Should I just like completely just delete this app? Like,
Mhm.
why? Like, I don't feel like I'm closer to God sometimes when I'm on it, right? There's so many different poles, and it can become such a distraction from motherhood and just
Mhm.
everything, right? But I also felt like the Lord, like I would get on the app at times and he would direct me to like certain people that were dealing with the same things. And I like was so grateful for that at the time. And it kind of
Mhm.
changed my perspective. And I asked the Lord, okay, what do you want me to do then if I'm still going to stay on this app? I don't want to be one of those people that are like dragging someone down or like reminding them that they're not good enough, or because when you go through mental health struggles, that app can be very sucking and just
Mhm.
triggering. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it, but everyone probably understands that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think my perspective changed of like, okay, there's a reason and a purpose that it's here now, and there are so many good gems on it. And to be one of
Yes.
those gems where you're being someone's answer to their prayer, like that seems silly. Like go to the scriptures first, obviously, but like
Mhm.
if you're dealing with mental health and like you are going to the app, to Instagram or whatever, then
Mhm.
like I know that the Lord comes to us in those moments. Like
Yes.
he'll come to us in the depths of like our heart, and he'll
Mhm.
like bring those little pieces to us so that we can put the puzzle pieces together and be able to get out of the depths of what feels like hell, right? When you're going through
Mhm.
depression and anxiety. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
absolutely love that. I think that's such a great point to bring up that like social media is
Mhm.
it just is the whole spectrum, right? Like can
Yeah.
be so good and can be so bad
Yeah.
and can be a major distraction, but when we learn how to use it correctly, um I have had similar experiences that like God
Yeah.
has led me to certain people at certain times, they pop up in my feed or
Yeah.
somebody posts about them and then, they've given a whole bunch of information that I needed.
Yeah.
Um so I absolutely love that. I think it
Mhm.
is Yeah, just so wise. Like God finds us where we are, right? So like if we're on
Yes.
Instagram
Mhm.
or wherever we at, he is gonna find us if we are looking for him. And so
Yes.
I think that's so neat that you were able to recognize that even though you were going through such a hard time.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. That it is anxiety and depression is so hard. Just
Yeah.
like you said, it really does just put you in such a dark place where it feels so hard to connect to him. Um,
Yes.
which I think, I don't know, I feel like that makes it just adds a whole new level to it, right? Because
Mhm.
like you're trying to connect to him, but you just feel just so dark that it
Mhm.
makes it so hard.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. There's so many resources. I would just say going back to doing the things you love, going back to the basic things, simplifying your life.
Mhm.
Yeah. Reaching out to people.
Love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's so many of us going through it. I think it just and I think once we get through I was thinking about this the other day. Like it's so easy to or it is easier to talk about things once we're on the other side, right?
Yes.
Um but like so often we have to take that step of being so brave while we're in it to get the
Mhm.
help that we need because
Yeah.
that's when you need the help.
It's so true. And I think even now being on the other side of it, it's important now to just like try to find and like bring hope to people that are in the depths of it because yeah, those people helped me so much. I'm
Yeah,
still just
definitely.
so grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're struggling with depression or anxiety, I'm sending you to Savannah.
Yeah. I will be glad to send some resources and yeah, just relate. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so much of it is just like the needing to relate and connect, right? And just
Mhm.
understand that like, okay,
You're not
you're someone
alone.
who has gone through this
Yeah.
is real what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So looking back, what would you tell yourself um as maybe a first-time mom or making big decisions? What would you tell your younger self looking back?
Yeah. I would say don't be afraid. That is the biggest thing. I think that fear can like overtake us at times, and that probably goes hand in hand with anxiety, but just I think everybody that's human nature is to feel like afraid of the unknown, to feel
Hmm.
afraid of failure. Um yeah, that's what I would tell myself. Don't be afraid, just keep going, keep
I love it.
hanging on.
I
Yeah.
love that because on the other side of doing those brave things, you have found all sorts of joy and connection.
Yes. Yeah,
Mm.
and strength, like strength that you didn't even know you had. So if you just keep going, keep fighting, keep doing the little things, the Lord will like show you how much endurance you are able to have. And that's
Okay.
throughout our whole lives. I mean, there's so much more that I'm going to continue to go through and it can
Right.
be
It's kind of
scary.
exhausting
Yeah, it's scary to
to
like
think
think
that way.
about because you know that there's still like, I feel like when you're dealing with anxiety and depression, it's that feeling of like, okay, everything's feeling good. So like what's on the other side? Like, oh no. Right? I think
Yes.
that's like a huge part of what we go through, especially in postpartum, right? But just that feeling of like, don't be afraid. And I think that comes around to my favorite scripture, which I think you were gonna ask me at some point.
Yes. Yes. Tell us.
Yeah, because it goes along with that. I think it just led me to that because this hasn't ever really been my favorite scripture. But after a crazy year like this, I just think the Lord has helped me find and gain so much experience, right? That's what
Mhm.
we gain when we go through hard things. But just looking back on our lives, I think there's so many reasons that we could be afraid because so many hard things do happen and so many things unexpected happen.
Yeah.
Um, but so much good comes from it. So yeah, I think my favorite scripture goes right along with just not being afraid of what's to come. And it's actually in Doctrine and Covenants 122, verses 7 through 9. And it says, "And if thou shouldst be cast into the pit or into the hands of murderers, and the sentence of death passed upon thee, if thou be cast into the deep, if the billowing surge conspire against thee, if fierce winds become thine enemy, if the heavens gather blackness and all elements combine to hedge up the way, and above all, if the very jaws of hell shall gape open the mouth wide after thee, know thou, my son, that all these things shall give thee experience and be for thy good. The Son of Man hath descended below them all. Art thou greater than he? Therefore hold on thy way, and the priesthood shall remain with thee, for their bounds are set, they cannot pass. Thy days are known, and thy years shall not be numbered less. Therefore fear not what man can do, for God shall be with thee forever and ever. And I just think that if we can just choose faith over fear in everything we go through, then our lives are beautiful. We don't have to fear death. We don't have to fear changes. We don't have to fear failure, because he's with us no matter what. If we're with him, he's with us. And I just think there's so much beauty in that.
I love that. That's so awesome. Isn't it so interesting how like you get older and then all these little things like faith over fear and by small and simple things, like all these little things that we are scriptures and quotes that we're always telling each other, like they're actually starting to make sense. Like they're really hitting home. You're like, wait, faith over fear. Like I get it now. I get why we are always saying this, or like by small and simple things are great things brought to pass. Like that one plays in my head all day long, because all day long I'm doing small and simple things.
All the things we learned so much in our childhood.
I love what you said about that scripture, just like you being led to it. And you know, I'm sure you've read that one before, but obviously in your new situation, it took on new meaning. And I absolutely love that about the scriptures. It reminds me of a talk that Richard G. Scott gave years ago, and he just talks about our scriptures being our friends and how like we can call to memory these scriptures and they literally become like comforting, peace, hope, just little lights as we memorize them and read them. So I love that.
It's so true. Love the scriptures.
So great. Well, Savannah, thank you so much for coming to chat with us, being the very first lady to come on and share your story.
I love it.
It was so beautiful. You are so inspiring, and I'm just so grateful that you could come and share with us your faith. I've always looked up to you because you are just so good at talking about Jesus and God. You can just tell that you have always been close to them. I just have always loved that about you, just that it comes so easily. But I also think that we would be amiss to not talk about your mother. You are a prodigy of Pam. Savannah's mom literally is Pam from Saturday's Warrior. So if you have seen that.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Okay, so like I grew up with just living in the ward next to Savannah's ward. And so Pam was in our stake, and we did not know Marianne Thompson. But we always were just like, oh, that's Pam from Saturday's Warrior, like whenever we would see her around the town. I loved that movie as a child, and so she was famous to me. And then our wards merged, and Marianne became one of my young women leaders, and she's coming on here next. I am definitely going to hit her up.
Oh, yeah. She needs to. She has a lot to share. She's amazing.
She is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my claim to fame. My mom is Pam. In the very corny, beautiful Saturday's Warrior. So if you haven't seen it, go watch the old one. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I'm sure it's great.
I haven't either. The old one's just too good. How could they replace it?
I know. I have all the songs memorized. It's so fun.
Me too. They're so good.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for having me. It's been so fun.
It's so fun.
I love sharing about Jesus. It's my passion. It's my newfound passion. Well, not new, but just
I'm just sinking into it more.
Yes, I'm finding it. I love it.
I love it. That's a great passion. Thank you, Savannah, for being with us here today and for sharing of your goodness and your wisdom, your faith through hard times. I know that I felt the Spirit, and got some really good tips out of this. I absolutely love the God is home idea and making him my safe place. I also love the advice to not be afraid. Let's just get out there. Let's move forward, people. Have courage, take heart, and do the hard things that God has inspired you to do. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Please leave me a review and share with your friends and your family. I love you guys and I am cheering you on. Let's be amazing mothers.